For today's episode of What's the Buzz, I sat down with my friend Skylar. Now, if you're listening to this podcast around the time that it's released, you know we just launched a fundraiser for Skylar. And I wanted to take time to get into the nitty-gritty details of her story because there's a lot there, and I wanted to make sure we had time to really get into the details of what she's been going through over the last 7 years. This episode is a longer one, but I didn't want to cut anything short because I wanted you guys to have full context, both to why this fundraiser is so important, but also to some of the struggles you may not be familiar with that people that have autoimmune disorders struggle with on the daily. I hope you stick around for the whole thing. It's worth it. All right, let's get into it.
My brothers would put spiders in my room
Okay.
and hope that they would mutate into something, because like the story of like Spider-Man.
That's amazing.
I won't go
Like,
into
that's
this.
kind of messed up, but that's really funny.
You got to cope with,
Yeah.
you're like, what is going on? And yeah, they'd put spiders in my room and hope that like it would bite them and they'd become Spider-Man.
Welcome to What's the Buzz with Jeremiah. I am the aforementioned Jeremiah. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm so excited. Skylar, thank you for taking time to sit down and being willing to be so vulnerable with so many people that you don't know.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being willing to have this conversation while I'm dressed as a bee.
It's everything, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoping it'll throw some like nice counterbalance to the conversation.
No, it's there's nothing quite like this outfit right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And it's sort of a special thing for the people that are watching too, not just listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little visual engagement we've got going on there.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah, love it. Well, thank you again for being willing to be sort of the center of the next month. As of recording this, we haven't formally launched your fundraiser yet. We're about to.
Right.
And so you and I both are like, I don't know how this is going to go.
Guess we'll see.
What are you feeling right now?
Expectant, I think. Excited. Also nervous. I mean, there's definitely like some nerves surrounding vulnerability and engaging in conversation and you're it's interesting to be in this side of things like this. But I'm excited. I'm thankful. Lost for words.
You strike me as someone that's not used to being the center of attention.
Yeah, it's not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
I'm a little uncomfortable. And I think that makes sense. I feel like most people are like, well, yeah, it's vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's vulnerable.
Yeah. So the entire time I have known you, you have been going through it.
Yeah. Day one.
Like, I think the first time I met you, I think you were in a wheelchair. Do you remember when we met? Because I will not forget it. I don't remember exactly what you said, but it was at the young adult group, the same group that Annie and I met.
Yep.
And you you rolled up to me and you already were like pre-qualified in knowing who I was.
Okay.
Like, you had done some sort of like brief internet.
I'm an Instagram stalker.
Yeah,
Like
and you said
100%.
that. So it was like,
yes,
you already had a couple bits of context into like who I was.
Right.
And I don't remember what you said, but it was so funny the way you just shamelessly were like, hello, good to meet you. I know a little bit about you already. I stalk people on Instagram. It's kind of my thing.
That's a fun fact. That's a great way to make friends. You just lead with it. I stalked you really hard on Instagram and I learned you can learn a lot about somebody in like 2 or 3 posts. Yeah, unashamed. That's so funny. I don't remember that, but that adds up.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was epic.
You were probably wearing a cat shirt.
I probably was. I think
on
I
brand.
was. Yeah. But even back then, like that was still like several years before that is when like a lot of stuff had really started for you.
I think it was around like 21. So like 5 years ago. Let's do the math. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to spend a lot of time really digging into the logistics of what you've gone through and what you're going through now, because it's not as clean cut as I have this diagnosis.
Right.
It's been kind of all over the map.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that people that are learning about you and are potentially going to contribute to help change your life really understand what is going on.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable with it, why don't we just kind of start at like the beginning?
Yeah, the start.
Yeah, and I'll let you take it. I'll ask some questions here and there.
Day one, yeah. So 2019, I had just dropped out of college and was driving home, packed up my bags, decided school wasn't for me, and got in a really serious car accident on my way home. And that car accident I tell people like that it like changed the course of my life, because it really did. That car accident, my car had flipped over. It actually like caved in on itself, and I had fractured 3 of my ribs on my left-hand side. And that same CT scan that found the fractures, that CT scan, like my thyroid and like my whole like neck area lit up. And they hadn't said much. Now prior, didn't have many symptoms, like I had 0 health issues up until this point, at least to my knowledge. But they kind of, they hand you discharge papers and they're like, can't do anything for broken ribs, but get your thyroid looked at. And so that kind of launched me into, not too long after that, I went through with ultrasounds, biopsies, and that's where I ended up finding out that I had malignant tissue in my thyroid, which then launched me into radiation treatment. They can do localized iodine radiation for your thyroid.
Okay.
And so you swallow a pill. You have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks, which was awful. I kind of giggle. Not really. It's not funny. Quarantining is really hard, but I would tell people like I did it way before COVID. Like not much, but enough.
Before it was cool.
Before it was cool.
Yeah.
And so by October of 2019, I had my first round of radiation. It's supposed to attack your thyroid and shrink it. And then isolate for 2 weeks, rest for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later had another round. And so I spent about 2 months going through this radioactive treatment. My brothers would put, this is just a fun fact, my brothers would, not fun fact, but like my brothers would put spiders in my room.
Okay.
And hope that they would mutate into something, because like, like the story of like Spider-Man, you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyways.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I won't go into
that's kind of messed up, but that's really funny.
Oh, well, they, how do you got to cope with, you're like, what is going on? And they'd put spiders in my room and hope that like it would bite them and they'd become Spider-Man. But that radiation treatment, little did I know, completely wrecked my body. And so where we thought, I'm 19, I have no idea. No, there's no like book or like blueprint on like how to go about handling health issues or things that come up, or there's not really a lot of information. Like I didn't have anybody of like, I've been through this before. I don't know. You just blindly trust like the people that are telling you what to do. Yeah. And I think rightfully, like at the time, rightfully so. It's a doctor. I'm 19. Absolutely. Yeah. But what I didn't know is that the aftermath of radiation, and honestly, the aftermath of the impact that it had on my thyroid, would then lead me to where I am today. And so that launched me into, I began having seizures. Still to this day, they don't know what caused it other than.
But it's concluded that it was a result of the radiation?
Yes, which seems like, it's so fascinating. The human body's wild, but like that like shouldn't be the case. I mean, your thyroid does a lot, and I'll get into that. I love to share what the thyroid does, but yeah. It shouldn't have led to seizures. And by start having seizures, I then developed gastroparesis, which is like slow stomach emptying, eventually stomach paralysis. So like completely stop eating. And this is when it kind of began to sink in where I was like, oh, something is wrong. Yeah. Again, at this time, had no idea that it was connected to the treatment that I had just gone through. So by April of 2020, I was a full-time patient up at Mayo Clinic and went through every test, treatment, I don't know, treatment's the right word.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
So what you said is all of this stuff ultimately was the result of radiation that somebody you trusted told you to do it, and it has kind of destroyed your life in one sense. That's maybe an exaggeration, but yeah. Did you have to deal with like anger? Like how did you process that emotionally?
Well, I didn't realize that the aftermath, because like now I'm 7 years into a whole slew of things, and like each year would get diagnosed with something new. And I don't think it was until maybe about like a year or two ago that it has not been formally like, Skylar, this was the result of radiation, right? There's been like none of that. This is like you spend 7 years in a really broken medical system trying to figure out what is going on, what caused this. Yeah. And that seems to be the common denominator. I think more than the radiation though, just damage to my thyroid, I would almost argue is like the cause. And in hindsight, I would have gone about treating my thyroid very differently, because your thyroid controls everything from your metabolism to your heart rate to your respiratory rate, your body temperature. I mean, your thyroid and your brain are having these wild conversations about what hormones to release, and that gets into the neurotransmitters. So we're talking like, you know, and your endocrine system, which is your thyroid, to your adrenals, and then for women, it's your reproductive system as well. They all talk, and when one goes out of whack, they all go out of whack. So I know I'm taking a long, winded road to get to your question, but I don't know if I don't know if anger is the right word. I think like, no, maybe it is. I think yes. I feel like I'm still, have you ever been in like fight or flight? You know, when you're in like survival mode, like you're not thinking about like what caused you to get into survival mode, and you like don't even have the emotional like capacity to like. That's almost like a luxury. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think I'm still in survival, like, and so I think I've had really deep bouts of grief. Yeah. Where I'm like, man, like, I didn't realize what I was. Yeah, and I didn't realize what I was doing or the treatment that I was getting, and that it was going to lead me to where I got. Deep bouts of grief. And I'm sure there was anger intertwined in that too, but it emotionally and physically costs a lot to be angry. And I don't have those reserves. Like I don't have that stored, you know what I mean? The means for that, because I'm still in it. Yeah. Yeah. So you were back at Mayo Clinic. Oh, yeah. 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 So became a full-time patient up at Mayo Clinic. They really kind of threw me through the ringer. Mayo Clinic is incredible, but like, because they have a whole team of doctors and they're chatting and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and they kind of slapped a whole bunch of Band-Aids on me, and they're like, we're actually not sure. But they started with at least acknowledging that there was some sort of chronic something, some sort of autoimmune something. They did put some language to, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of POTS. It's postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Yeah. I now kind of push back against that, but at the time they had said that. Ehlers-Danlos is another one. That's a connective tissue disorder. So I feel like I chronic illness is like just gaining some attention in a good way of like acknowledging that it actually exists. Yeah. As a real thing, and it really impacts people's lives. But in 2020, I would say there wasn't a whole lot of that. And so I feel like Mayo kind of slapped a whole bunch of Band-Aids with like, this is what we think, but we're not sure. And then they sent me home to try to figure out how to do life with this is what we think and we're not sure. Yeah. All while my thyroid is now fully hypo, which is like your whole body is slowed down. Your fatigue is through the roof. They're telling me that my heart and my brain aren't really talking. And so my heart would just like kind of freak out a little bit. And that's my layman's terms of like, the valves in my heart get a little funky, and so now I'm unconscious all the time. So it's like every single one of these things, the symptoms are all like high stakes. Oh yeah. It's not, yeah. Like it's not just like, oh man, I'm kind of tired. Sure. It's like I have debilitating fatigue, and you want me to get out of bed, and not only can I not get out of bed, but I could sleep 12 hours and still not get out of bed. And then like, you ever like disassociate and like stare at a wall? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like that. And then I feel like every symptom that has come with the things that I've walked through, all high stakes and all costly and all completely debilitating and impact the way that I have to live. But yeah, 2021, get diagnosed with something new. 2022, get diagnosed with something new. 2023, get diagnosed with something new. And amidst all these diagnoses, and again, I say diagnosed, I'm hesitant to say like, this is what it is, because I still don't know. Other than also your body evolves. Like, I don't know. It could be changing. Yes, yes. Well, and at the end of the day, like a diagnosis is, I mean, it's not like the human body exists in categories. Like a diagnosis of an illness is like us trying to create a system to make sense of something that's happening. Right. Throughout those years, things are, diagnosis is maybe changing, but were there common threads into how you figured out how to live life? Yeah, well, I mean, so what life looked like for me is that I was absolutely like debilitated by fatigue. I couldn't stand up without passing out. And sleep was impacted like as in I wasn't sleeping or I was sleeping too much. And there was like no in between. I wasn't eating. My relationship with food was like, I had like 2 safe foods. You know what I mean? It was like rice and chicken tenders. And that was like all I would eat. Because anything else, I would get breakout in hives, rashes. And so like navigating life with a body that like, I didn't have one day that was consistent.
Yeah.
So like no 2 days were the same. And I could be hit with a new symptom out of nowhere and then have to like figure out how to live with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes like multiple at once. And so like just when I was learning to like, this is how we address fatigue, it was like, oh, now like your feet are going to swell so much and hurt so bad and they're not going to go down and we're not going to know how to get the swelling to go down. So you're going to have to learn how to walk or you're not going to walk. Just like random, like, you're going to have heart palpitations. And I felt like right when I would like adopt a lifestyle kind of like, okay, I like know how to manage insomnia.
Yeah.
Now I would be sleeping too much. And then it'd be like, okay, now I know how to manage fatigue. And it'd be like, well, now I can't eat. Okay, well, now I know how to manage my relationship with food and try to figure out how to nourish my body in spite of. It's like, well, now I'm too hungry. I don't know. I'm...
You know what's crazy?
Please.
The way you talk about the stuff you've had to go through, it sounds so all over the place. Like somebody tried to write like a book and knew nothing about medical things.
Right.
And it's like, oh, and now she couldn't sleep. And like, oh, now she had to eat these things. Like it just feels like there's no, hearing you talk about it, there's like no common thread.
No, well, and it's why I'm even like in real time finding like myself struggling to articulate.
Yeah.
Because I don't actually know if I have like necessarily good language for what I experience in a day, let alone what I've experienced for 7 years.
Yeah.
All I know is it's debilitating. Like, and I'm constantly left like, you know, sometimes like there was a season of life where like I was in bed by like 6:30 and up by like 9, and like that worked for me. And then all of a sudden like a shift would happen in my body and it was like, now that doesn't work and I have to find something new. Like, and this is in every category that you can think of in life. There was some symptom, some ailment, something that would impact this category: food, sleep, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just thinking of the 2 basic things. That's why I'm bringing them up. But
yeah.
And then it's like right when I would think that I would like dial in on something, it was like psych, which is also very much hormonal, endocrine. I mean, your body it's beautiful, but it's incredibly complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So you're going through year after year, the same sort of pattern in the sense that it's all changing, but you kind of get used to that. Was there a point then, maybe 2024 or later, that things started to shift?
For the shift in what way?
Just your story. Like it got more complicated because of this or something like that.
Well,
I know this year it got complicated.
Yeah, this year it got complicated. Yeah, I mean, I also amidst like these, you know, I'm breaking my life up into like these little segments of years because a lot happens in a day, let alone a year.
Yeah.
But I also like I tried to work because I'm 19. I dropped out of school, which that actually like was for the better. But like I had aspirations and dreams and drive. I still have it, and I enjoy putting my hands to things. And so, like, yeah, I mean, I think I've kind of shared this with you before, but like I've gone through like these patterns of like trying to work, and then like that would send me into a flare, and the flare would be the shift. So but like where things have like gone downhill, like maybe more, I'm trying to think. Let me find my words here as we're talking.
So to like reflect back,
please.
Basically what you're saying is you wanted to work, you wanted to be more involved, and
right.
And so you would attempt to do something in your life until a point where you overexerted yourself, and you would have what you call a flare-up, which is basically some part of your body is being attacked in some sort of way.
Right.
And it becomes debilitating, and that triggers like your entire situation changing.
Yes.
Is that a fair way to describe it?
Yes. Yeah. Like I would try to live.
Yeah.
Because it felt like that was my, like, what do you do when you're presented with a body that just decides that like everything triggers it and it just, nothing wants to work, but like life still goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had these bouts of being bedridden, but yeah, to kind of summarize it, I would like really try to fight to work. So I was like some ounce of normalcy.
Yeah.
21, like you just want to live. You're in your early 20s. You want to figure out like, I want to live. And being bedridden is not, it is living, but it's not living, I think, in in a way that's ideal. It's super grieving. There's a lot of grief in that. So 2024, I would say, actually 2024, I like really felt like I got a hang of things. I was like, oh, I'm getting a hang of things. Like maybe I can work.
Yeah.
And then I threw myself into like the corporate world because I was like, this is it. I often get a lot, which I'm sure this is like not just me. I know this is actually like very common in like the chronic illness community, but people will tell you that like you look great. Like you don't look sick. So I feel like I'd really try to get away with that and like I threw myself into this job thinking like, well, I don't look sick, and so maybe I'm not anymore. You know, like reverse like psychology, like maybe it's gone if I throw myself into a job. And that job really sent me into a flare that left me hospitalized. I tried I tried going to the gym one time, and I had like just gotten this job, and I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna get strong. And again, you like really try to 5 years in or whatever, like I was really like in this mindset of like maybe it's just disappeared overnight.
Yeah.
Like maybe, you know, and I tried going to the gym. I ended up going into not cardiac arrest. My parents call it cardiac distress. That's not a formal term. They don't know what happened.
Okay.
But I go to the gym. I'm maybe 5 minutes in to walking on a treadmill, and I go completely unconscious. I was unconscious for over 20 minutes. They didn't get any medical care to me. Like within like that, like, you know, no pulse check, no nothing. The guy behind me, I'm reflecting on what I was told.
Yeah.
But they were all under the impression that I had died. Yeah, that left me hospitalized. They had no idea what caused it. Then that's like when I say flare, like that's what it is. Like that was it. That was my body. Like we're done. Like we're not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
I also got COVID 2024. That completely shifted things for the worst. My autonomic nervous system got clocked really bad, which is your, you know, autonomic, the things you don't have to think about, breathing and your heart beating.
Yeah.
I thought I was absolutely done for. July of 2024, I spent that entire month like preparing to die because I really thought that's what was going to happen. My respiratory rate dropped to like, I'm going to throw out numbers and it's okay if you don't know what they mean, but sure. I was like, your average respiratory rate I think is like, I don't know, like 15 to 22. Yeah. And I was sitting at like 8 or something, you know, like just really shallow, and they couldn't figure out what other than COVID. And that was the first time I had gotten COVID 2024, which is actually kind of a miracle in itself. But
yeah.
And then my heart rate at night would like dip into the 30s, and my body would like shock me awake. And I think it literally was my body like, don't die, you know, because you have your body's really trying to keep you alive in spite of like all of the things. But yeah, getting COVID in 2024 was a huge shift, because that's the first time I think chronic illness, it's like you live with all of these really debilitating symptoms, but you're not dying.
Yeah.
Right? Like at no point from 19 to 24 was I like, oh, these symptoms are going to kill me. They're just incredibly inconvenient. I hate them, and it's really hard to live. Right? 2024, I was like, oh, this could kill me. Yeah. And I think that was really jarring. And just to kind of bounce back from that required a lot of like, I mean, it's nice that I had all the time in my hands, because that launched me into being bedridden once again. So you have a lot of time to process things. But
yeah.
I would say that getting COVID was a huge shift in my body. But then 6-7 months go by, and I'm still trying to figure out how to live life again, because like I don't want my life to be just like she's just going to be sick for the rest of her life, because that's what a chronic illness label feels like. Like this is just forever, and we can do nothing about it.
I will say, so the time I've known you, I haven't been super up close to the stuff that you're talking about.
Right.
But the sense that I always got was that you had this resolve that like you're going to find a way to live.
Yeah.
While you're trying to survive.
Yeah, I feel like chronic diagnoses can sometimes feel like a death sentence of like, this is it. And I've had a really hard time, and this could be like, I know we could probably go into like the psychology of like coping and denial and accepting, and I know like, but I really have had this, like, this cannot be how I'm supposed to live. Like, there's just no way. And that's not out of like, I really don't think that's out of denial. That's out of like, I want to live life just like everybody else. And so, yeah, I'm going to fight to like, I have yet to really like like fully accepted a diagnosis of like, this is what I have. And so this is the like, I'm going to just walk as if that, I don't know, I've just never accepted it. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I don't even know if I can live in that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just the approach that I've had with sickness in general.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to be sick. Also, I think in the pattern of life that I've been living, I think that it's really fair to say that, you know, it's good to acknowledge the things that like, okay, no, this is actually something that I do have, and now I have to figure out how to, but yeah.
We're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
Play some ads from our sponsors that we definitely have.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this is proclaiming that we will have. But after that, I do want to talk about sort of where that's brought you now.
Okay.
I have some other questions. And then also I want to sort of imagine for the future, because the goal here is resting on the theory that we can maybe change your life.
Right.
So,
okay.
Let's do that.
Sweet.
Do you like immersive, story-driven podcasts? Do you enjoy a good underdog story? If so, then I have just the thing for you. In October of 2024, I began documenting my journey of leaving my job to build my own creative company called Sleepy Dog Creative. And I created a podcast called Over the Edge. It's a story of struggle, of success and failure, and a story about stepping out of your comfort zone to pursue your dream. Along the way, you'll hear candid phone calls from my business mentor, my team, and video journals of me processing the highs and the lows of a life lived over the edge of your comfort zone. You can listen to Over the Edge on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other places where you find your podcast. Over the Edge is one of the coolest creative projects I have ever done, and I can't wait for you to hear it. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Sidekick Pro. Sidekick Pro is a presentation app that was built to help a live audience tangibly engage with what's happening on stage. Slides, song lyrics, interactive polls, trivia, live Q&A, crowd games, and more, all in one app. And what's amazing is that your audience can join in right from their phone simply by scanning an on-screen QR code. No extra hardware, no production team needs. It's simple and it's game-changing. Sidekick was designed for youth pastors and developed with a student audience in mind, but the platform is useful for a wide range of people. If you're a teacher, a public speaker, a content creator like me, this thing is a cheat code for audience engagement. It takes people from simply watching into engaging. Sidekick Pro is a brand new platform that launches August 3rd, 2026, and listeners of What's the Buzz will get their first month free. Just go to sidekick.tv to download Sidekick Pro and enter code BUZZ, B-U-Z-Z, in app to get your first month free. And if you're hearing this before the launch, just jump on their waitlist and you'll be notified the moment it goes live. It's the same link, sidekick.tv. Level up your stage presence with Sidekick Pro. I have never really fully understood what it was that you had going on.
I mean, it really is like my thyroid.
Yeah.
And then everything else. I feel like I'm struggling to like, how do you even articulate like everything that could possibly not work is not working.
Yeah. Why I said it feels so random and unintelligent.
Yes.
Like there's no consistency.
No.
It's just like, think of a thing that could go wrong.
Yeah, and it probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah, like going to the gym. It's like what a girl just wants to get her like 10,000 steps in, and it was like game over.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So from 2024 to today, I know that this year things got even worse.
Yes.
Anything between 2024 and now that's worth talking about?
Not necessarily. I just tried to work and live and work.
Yeah. So what happened this year?
Yeah. So this year
2026, by the way.
2026.
Yeah.
I guess notable, I did move last year to North Carolina and started a new job again because I like to work, because I think it's important, and it brings purpose in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I had just finished like a 6-month stint of working in this new job kind of position, and had been traveling a decent amount with the job. And January hits of this year, and I just start to notice like my body is really slowing down more than like, again, I feel like I had this confidence of like I've adopted a lifestyle to address the things that need to be addressed. So like I shouldn't be having any more flare-ups in my head as if I can control them. But I just start to notice January, I start to get really tired. I'm like, what is going on? About mid-January, I like stop eating. And I like can't handle food anymore. And I'm like, what is going on? End of January, I'm like, something's up with my stomach. I'm in a lot of pain. I can't eat. I go to the doctor. I'm like, I like tell him like all the buzzwords you have to tell somebody to like get the treatment that you need or like get the test done. All the buzzwords. I was like, this going on, whatever. They find 6 tears in my stomach, like full on like rips. Like, just imagine like someone taking a knife and like 6 times in my stomach. Still, they have no idea why. Found that. So I get sent home from work. Like, I get sent home. My job's like, why don't you go home? Why don't you breathe? Because I'm like, I have no idea what caused this. I haven't done anything. I haven't eaten anything. Like, 6 tears in your stomach completely like out of nowhere. So I fly back home. And the plan was I was going to go home and take like 2 weeks to just rest and like be with my family. Kind of just like, you know, and still no idea where these stomach tears came from, but I'm home and I just start to notice like, again, like something's off. And I'm like, well, it's the stomach tears. Like, obviously my body's just, that's the stomach tears. And like 2 weeks of something being off kind of turned into 3 weeks and I'm still home. Because something was off enough where I was like, maybe I shouldn't go back yet. Yeah. At this point, I didn't have, I just, everything starts feeling like, you know, I had told you January, I felt really tired. I think I'm now in March and everything starts to feel really sped up. Yeah. Like suddenly it felt like someone like took like a remote to my life and they were like 100 times, you know, you can do like the 3 times, 4 times. It was like 100.
Yeah.
And the only time that I felt like normal was when I was like running or walking, which I wasn't really doing, but like when I was moving, it was like, but the minute I would like stop to slow down, it felt like, or just stop to sit, it just felt like my mind, like, that's the only way I know how to explain it. My body, heart rate, respiratory rate, I'm like hyperventilating, but I'm still going about my life as if like, maybe I'm just stressed because, you know, I just had stomach tears, I had a big life transition, and this is what doctors will love to tell you, like, you're just stressed. You're just a little anxious. And so that's what I was like, that's absolutely must be what's going on. False. By the end of March, I was going to bed with a heart rate of like 160, 180. And I'm trying to sleep. And my heart rate is like 180 is like athlete. Well, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that's like, I'm running really high hit, whatever the like, hyperventilating, like I could not catch a breath. I'm like hungry for air. I am unwell mentally because I am now not sleeping at all.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like acute, like I'm not sleeping and it's like I got 6 hours. It's like, no. Like I did not sleep.
Yeah.
That went on for 2 weeks. Absolutely no sleeping. Absolutely pretty much no eating because, you know, why did I let it go on that long? I think I was convinced that like maybe I was just stressed.
Well, and I would guess too, I have the tendency to be like, it's probably nothing.
Exactly.
And I'm sure in your situation, you've always got something, and so you're probably just like, it's probably just one of the things. Like it's just
absolutely. It's like, well, maybe I like have been sleeping on the wrong side of the bed. And like, I don't know, it's just like anything could have launched me into anything.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out what was going on, I think it was just like, no, I just need to figure this out and like keep moving forward.
Yeah.
That was not the case. Those like 2 weeks though, like before I like actually decided to go and figure out what was going on, not by choice, were absolute like torment, the worst ever, out of like all the things that I've ever experienced in my life thus far, which like, a lot. In 7 years, you experience a lot of medical nonsense, a lot of like blood drawing, all the, just like everything under the sun. I feel like I thought I had seen it all. These past, those 2 weeks, like nothing, I'd never experienced anything like that. I just felt like my body was in overdrive and it was miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. Finally, I think it was my dad was like, we need to call 911. Like, I am a wreck. Again, 2 weeks of no sleep too, like that'll do something to you. And my body's already feeling sped up. It's already exhausted. They call the ambulance because it was just, I'm like not even in really, I don't want to say I wasn't in my right mind, but I'm 2 weeks sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And again, I just thought I was having like, I'm like looking back, I'm like, I just kind of thought I was having like, maybe I was just having a really long panic attack, and that's what it felt like. It just didn't end. And I get to the hospital and they're like, your thyroid levels are through the roof, as in undetectable, which the thyroid is very interesting. I won't bore you too much, but you have something called your TSH. Your TSH is basically your pituitary gland is telling your thyroid how much hormone to produce. Okay. When your TSH is high, that means that your pituitary gland is yelling at your thyroid, produce more, as in your thyroid's not producing enough. When your TSH is low, that means that your pituitary gland is telling your thyroid, stop producing hormone. We have enough in the body already. Okay?
Yeah.
My TSH was completely undetectable. Again, I'll throw out some numbers. I think the average is like maybe like 1.0 to 4 point something, give or take. That's a little different for a woman than a man, but you understand, right?
Yeah.
Mine was like 0.00000. Like they couldn't find it. As in my body was producing like a ridiculous amount of thyroid hormone. To the point where my body like, and too much is like anxious, hair loss. Yeah. Too little is like fatigued, dry skin, like itchy, tired, right? And they both share, but that's hypo and this is hyper. Yeah. I was hyper and then some. The clinical like diagnosis is called a thyroid storm. It's a very rare occurrence. It doesn't happen often. Actually, for me, it's supposed to be like literally impossible. Like they told me that like because my thyroid it's gone through radiation, so it's shrunk.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be producing any hormone. Like none. I'm actually on hormone like replacements.
Yeah.
I'm on synthroids.
Yeah.
To make up for the lack of hormone that my thyroid produces.
But for some reason, all of a sudden, it's just overworking.
For some reason, they're like, it's making way too much. This lands me into the hospital. And what they have to do is they have to stop it. So a thyroid storm could kill you. That's incredibly dangerous. I'm running fevers like just because I'm like, well, I'm honestly like, I'm not really like, I'm not present. When you're in like, your body is like, I kind of, again, it's like someone took a dial or like a remote and they like turned it all the way up. And my body was just this like terrible oven incubator wreck mess. And I'm not even present because I couldn't have even told you what happened in like those 3 days of just trying to get down from this, so they put me on medication to stop it, like to stop thyroid. You can go on anti-thyroid medication. They do all these tests again. They're checking my brain. They're checking checking all the things just in case.
Yeah.
They end up finding more nodules on my thyroid. And they're like, the kind of conclusion is like, oh, these nodules that they came back. So what I had in 2019, they're like, surprise, here it is again. And these nodules are producing hormones and telling your thyroid, make them. And so they put me on anti-thyroid medication. They try to swing me the other way. They definitely swing me the other way too far.
Okay.
Because their doctors are addressing me with the little knowledge that they have on the 7 years of health history that I have. Yep. And so they're not really taking into consideration, like their job is to get me to a place where I'm stable. And I respect that. Like they're just trying to get me to where I'm not dying.
Yeah.
But they, because if it was, I'm sorry, I'm going to get into some gritty.
That's fine. Yeah.
If it was just my thyroid producing hormone.
Yeah.
Their response to treatment would have made sense.
Yeah.
But because my thyroid had been radiated, as in it was shrinking and as in it was like, it's not really there. She's not really active. It's not doing anything.
Yeah.
they, I think, were too quick, and this is just my own subjective, right? I mean, it's my personal experience. I think that they were too quick to take me off thyroid meds, but they're trying to get me out of this storm. They're trying to like fluids and flush it out, and we need to get her, and how do we, they're trying to get me stable. But they take me off my meds. They put me on anti-meds. Putting me on anti-meds with a thyroid that doesn't work, bad news bears. They swing me so far the opposite way that lands me into, I was hospitalized for the entire month of April, because that swings me so far where now my heart rate is back to like 40 BPM at night. It's dipping to 30s. My respiratory rate's dropping. Like, so where I was in overdrive, it's sped up. I'm like, now I'm swung this complete other way where I have never been more fatigued in my life. I actually had also, just like a cute little surprise in the midst of this, had an allergic reaction to one of the medications.
Cool.
And it was a allergic reaction neurologically.
Okay.
And so I completely lose my ability to speak. I don't know if you're familiar with like nerve pain, but like neuropathy, probably like there's a lot of unpleasant human experiences. That one for me takes the cake a little bit. Felt like my entire like skin, like everything was burning underneath my skin. And my jaw locks as a result of like, that was the allergic reaction to the medication, was this like crazy neurological, like neuropathy, burning sensation, jaw locks. They like don't know what to do. And they're like, you're going to have to wait it out. So I spend 2 days, jaw completely locked, like cannot open my mouth. They have me on fluid. So like, I'm okay, but I'm not okay. Yeah. Burning on fire in like literal like torment, pain. And I'm like, even recalling it, like I just, that I feel like I'll come up speechless every time trying to explain the mental like anguish that it was to sit. I've already had a long year, like, right, 2026, like January to this point in April had been long. Stomach tears, we don't know why. I've been living in overdrive, we don't know why. Yeah. But then I keep being told, like, you just have to wait it out. You just have to wait it out. Once that episode kind of ends, I'm relearning how to talk. And they're still like kind of meeting with me with like the bare minimum. They're doing the best that they can, I think. At least that's like what I like to think. But they're just trying to keep me. Also, I'm just something that I think is relevant is like I'm 26. Yeah. And so like I don't look sick. And they don't have, no one in the ER or even in this hospital at this case was like going into the depths of my health history, taking it into consideration and then treating me based on what I've been through. They're doing again with like the average vitals that they need to see in the average, not realizing my body's not like everybody else's, or it's not the average. It doesn't fall into that graph of yours. But yeah, they swing me completely the opposite way. So fatigued, can't speak, not leaving bed. Finally, they kind of get to a point where like, we've kept you long enough. We don't know where it's going to go from here. And I start to like get really heavy chest, like kind of that day of discharge, I start to get a little heavy chested. Also, I feel like I should mention in this, like I'm struggling to breathe, but it wasn't anything that I'm like, there's so much going on. Like, none of me. And also like my ability to advocate for myself is like,
yeah.
So,
why do you think that is? That's a little bit of a tangent, but.
Well, because I have the ability to advocate for myself really well. In that moment, I couldn't even tell my left from my right. And I'm relearning how to talk.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Twice. You know what I mean? Like the overdrive, like that was one thing. Them swinging me the opposite way where it was like borderline, like I was almost in a coma. And like that's not an exaggeration. Also really scary. So, asking somebody to advocate for themselves when like they're facing.
Yeah.
And I don't throw around this like, oh, I'm facing death in any sort of like, I understand the weight of that. Like, no, I really thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And like, I think it can feel a little silly saying that because it's like, it's your thyroid. But like with all the symptoms that I was having and everything that I was presented with, like in my mind, like my heart rate's dipping to 30s at night, I'm gone, and there is no like support or anyone like walking you through. Like I'm mentally bracing myself and they're like, again, they're like, you're just going to have to wait another day. Just one more day. Tomorrow it will improve.
Yeah.
Tomorrow might be better. And so, I've learned to advocate for myself just in that moment, or just in this coming off of, again, like trying to say like, and I also didn't have support with me in the hospital the way that I think would have been really, really helpful. And so it was just kind of me like banging on a pot and pan, but I really can't bang on a pot and pan because I can't even lift my hands up. So
from there, that's like April, right? And as of right now, it's July.
Yes.
Few months.
Yes. I stopped being able to like maintain a blood oxygen level somewhere in the mix of that. I get put on full-time oxygen. So catching you up, they sent me home. I was home for about a day until my oxygen levels dropped, my heart rate dropped. I go back to the hospital. I'm there for like, they don't want to keep me that long. And also insurance gets funny when you when you're admitted twice in the span of a month or like a year. I don't know how it works. Yeah. I also turned 26 while this was happening and lost my insurance. So it was like boom, boom, boom. Isn't that lovely?
It's just like, it's all of the things.
It was perfect. It was actually perfect timing. But yeah, I get put on full-time oxygen, kind of insurance. I don't have it. And so full-time oxygen, expensive. That costs money.
Yeah.
So they're like, you're just actually, and obviously they did not say this to me directly, but in my own way of retelling, they basically were like, you're going to have to figure out how to live feeling like you can't breathe because there's nothing we can do for you. And we don't know why. And we don't know what's caused it. It's probably your thyroid. And you're probably anxious. And you're probably stressed. And so we're going to leave you with that in a little bow. And they're like, and go home. And so, yeah, from April to now, I have been on and off oxygen to the best of my ability. I've the support system that I have that, are trying to advocate for me alongside with me to get me the things that I need. Oxygen being one of them, because in spite of how it looks, I often feel like I can't breathe. And I have the vitals to back that up. And so it's not just like because they also, at one point, they're like, it's just in your head. You've been through a lot. Your body's been through a lot. It's probably just in your head. Like you're probably just having a lot of panic attacks, and this is just how they're manifesting and you can't breathe. Until my blood oxygen level is like at 88. And they're like,
Have you encountered anyone else that has gone through what you're going through?
In person, no. Online, a little bit. I'm familiar. There's a handful of like, I would say like content creators out there that have some form of chronic illness. No two stories the same. And so I think I've at least in an online community, I'm aware of people who have similar things and similar experiences, but also they have had the money or the means to maybe get more of an official like diagnosis. Again, I'm aware of what I'm dealing with is autoimmune. They've thrown out like Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid, basically where your cells attack, and they've also thrown out like maybe your cells are also attacking your lungs and maybe your cells are also attacking your heart. But just with the way that, again, this kind of pattern of life that I've been in, there's not really been like but in person, no.
Well, what I'm hearing, and I know this is a gross oversimplification.
Please.
But there is a reality that more answers, maybe a proper diagnosis, maybe even some sort of cure could meet you, but the gap is largely financial.
Yes.
Yeah. Like it's not that simple.
Yes.
It's not just like there's an answer and they're like, we'd tell you if you paid us. Like there's a lot more to it.
Totally. Money doesn't solve everything, but it does open the doors to a lot of the solving of things. Yeah. And because I think I probably heard this entire time like a heavy emphasis on working, but that's because I have part of it is also like, do I want to work? Yes, so bad. I just want something to do. I want to put my hands to something. You have dreams, you have aspirations. It's like I want to live. I keep saying that, but that's just genuinely how I feel. Yeah. But also I need to survive and I need to make money in order to, I dipped my toe into kind of functional medicine a little bit, but a lot of that's out of pocket. Mm-hmm. And so now it's like, here's this doctor that might actually know what's going on, might actually be able to solve some things for you. And it's going to be $1,500 for the first visit and then like $2,500 for every visit after. And like, that's just the bare, like that's the minimum. Yeah. That's not including treatment plans, supplements, like medications, trial and error.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like functional medicine treatment options out there, but that's a luxury.
Yeah.
Like that's not, and then even Western medicine at this point for me is a luxury, because insurance loves to just say like, you're 26, you don't look sick, you shouldn't have this. And then insurance wants to fight, go get a proper diagnosis.
Yeah.
Well, then that costs, like, it really is this vicious cycle of like, and
well, the admin side of it, is even.
That's what I was just gonna say. The worst, the medical. Nobody like, and again, like there is no book, there is no like, but nobody prepares you for the paying the bills and following up and seeing if you can get like debt relief or bill relief, and then but you have to submit all this paperwork and now I have to call in, and even coordinating appointments, and is this the doctor talking to this doctor, and well, this doctor doesn't take that insurance anymore because he decided to change it, so I'm going to pass you off to this doctor, but this doctor does, like it just like it doesn't end. Like we could probably spend hours on like the medical admin side of things. Also, you're asking somebody who isn't physically well to do those things. So now I'm like, I can barely get myself up to brush my teeth, and I'm supposed to like, I have an entire like stacks, if I could, obviously it's all online now, right? But stacks and stacks and stacks of paperwork and bills, and trying to even like I applied for disability, and that is that takes so much work, and trying and it's worth it, I think. And I also like, I didn't want to, that wasn't just like on a whim, like I'm gonna apply for this. That's 5 years into not being able to work and fight, like trying so hard. And even then, that was a whole side of the medical admin that I had just was like, whoa, like I need to get you every note, every diagnosis. Now I need you to talk to my doctors, and I need to talk to my doctors, and we need to talk to my doctors, and I hope my insurance covers the doctor that I just saw to get this approved, to send this into you. And that's also a year-long process. And so then what happens when you get denied after a year? It's like you start again, and my brain is like even fried thinking about it.
On top of like your situation, your symptoms, the reality that you're already like super fatigued at general existence hasn't gone away.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about where exactly you're at right now and what maybe we could change.
Right.
What we could do.
Yeah.
Right now, what are you under as far as debt? In general, I know I'm not looking for itemizations, but like in general, where are you at? Where are you at?
Yeah, my like ballpark number is around $30,000. And that's just what I've accrued in the past 3 or 4 months. Because I lost insurance, everything that I got done after I turned 26. I mean, you have a month. Yeah. But even then, insurance, once that was cut off, it's like everything's out of pocket, and there's just things that it was worth going into debt. There's just like, I have to get my blood drawn. Like that, especially with the thyroid. And when you're trying to stabilize your thyroid levels, like that's not like a one and done, here's a pill. That's like that's months, if not years long process. Yeah. And so, that's around what I'm looking at in terms of medical debt specifically. So
you're about 30 grand under just to get to zero.
Yes.
Not even talking about like looking at future things to be able to like support you today and maybe change your situation tomorrow.
Yes.
We also talked about, when we met beforehand, the idea of being on disability.
Right.
But which would help. It's not going to like change your day-to-day situation per se, but it will help a lot. Yeah. But you literally can't right now, right?
Yes.
Without, like, what do you need? Tell me about that.
To get disability or approved. Yeah. Yeah. So I have applied twice in the state of Illinois. And that process is a whole thing. But to kind of to reapply, I need a boatload of things. The biggest one being, though, like an attorney. The state does assign you an attorney, but that attorney is not like, that's the state attorney. So you know how you like, I'm trying to think of what a good kind of example or analogy would be to that, but the state can assign you someone And not that they're not going to do their job. They are going to do their job. But they're not getting paid. And so they're like, it's a weird, anyways, you can hire an attorney, and that attorney like actually takes on your case, learns your case, educates themselves on why you need it, and then actually is kind of the advocate for you, as opposed to the one that the state assigns. Great people, very kind, but they're not taking on the caseload. They're not invested in it.
Yeah.
As opposed to somebody that you're actually asking to come on and say, hey, would you help me?
Yeah. So you need the funds to be able to hire an attorney to advocate for you so that you can get on disability.
Yes.
So that you can survive.
Right. Yeah, disability is not the first choice by any means, but that's just, I'm 7 years into a pattern of, we talked about this, of working and...
So beyond the cost of paying your bills and living, finding an attorney so that you can be on disability, what are some of the other things that you need to sort of progress the learning about what's going on in your situation?
Right. I mean, again, this isn't like a, let me dream. It would be wonderful, which I've never had access to this, but to see someone or some clinic of some sort that would specialize and take on chronic / autoimmune cases. There are a handful of them that are beginning to exist and pop up now here, which is awesome, but they're also out of pocket.
Yeah.
And so I think having, again, a team, unlike Mayo's wonderful, but Mayo's Western, and it's Western medicine, which again, super helpful to an extent.
Yeah.
In my case, it just like, I've been trying to fight with, I've just been trying to, and so, yeah, to see, to be able to get treatment with some sort of clinic, or I don't even, even a doctor that specializes or is more aware of kind of the intricacies of chronic illness, the intricacies of the endocrine system, and then also just being a woman. Like, there's a lot. I'm learning that a lot of medicine is all studies on the male body and not the female body.
Cool.
And that is not a knock one way or another.
No, it's probably not helpful for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe that made sense at the time, but in this day and age, like, the female body, I think, is very understudied. And so to be able to see somebody that even has an ounce of knowledge in how the body works, because it's different. And then I think, I mean, that's a dream.
Yeah.
It is just...
Which, for what it's worth, the fact that at the age of 26, your dream is finding a doctor that has enough researched knowledge on your situation to help you survive.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that has to be your reality.
Yeah, that's okay. I appreciate it, but I also life keeps going on,
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. It's hard. It's hard. I say that smiling because I'm like, what were my options? Like, I think I come back to like at 26, like, when you're diagnosed with something, or you acquire another new symptom, whatever. My option is to keep living or to not. That's like really what I feel like. I always feel like I come up at these forks of the road, and it's like, I either keep going or I don't, but what does that even look like? Like,
yeah.
And so, life goes on. And so it's good. But yeah, that's just kind of silly, but that is a dream, that there would be somebody that'd be willing to like take it on, which I think that there's good thing we live in 2026, that there are more people advocating and advancing medicine on behalf of women, men, undiagnosed things. I think we're coming a ways, we're making progress, I think, in ways that are hopefully beneficial, because our medical system thus far is very broken.
Yeah. So to quickly recap the stuff that we talked about now and some stuff we talked beforehand, with funds that we could raise, step one, pay the medical bills that you have,
right,
approximately $30,000. Step two, make sure that you can continue to exist. That's
sure,
like
lifestyle,
life, like food and rent and things.
Yes.
But then also the existence in the form of making sure you can get oxygen. Or we even talked about like a service dog in case something goes wrong, like different things like that. And then hiring an attorney to be able to advocate for you, to put you on disability. So there's some sort of continued option for assistance. Then looking forward, there's looking at investing in some form of a team of doctors or a certain doctor that seems like they actually could provide the answers needed. Because in theory, there is a world where you don't have to live like this anymore.
I can't even fathom the idea of that. But that would be awesome. That has not to, I think sometimes, and I don't say this lightly, and I'm not even trying to sound like, whatever that is. I'm not trying to sound like that. But I think to dream is a luxury. Like when you're sick, it's a luxury to dream. And I just have not had that. And it's not a victim mindset. It's not even like, no pity required. Like,
I know you well enough to know that that's not it.
Like that just genuinely hasn't been a luxury. And the idea that I could stand up and not go unconscious every time, or the dream that I could wake up and not, I get chronic migraines a lot, and like I like can't see out of my left eye. The idea of having like 20/20 vision for a day, or to sleep and actually sleep through the night. Just things that to have a body that like where my body temperature is actually regulated, and I'm not like running super warm one day and then I'm freezing the next. It's exhausting. Where I don't have to get blood work done every week, or where I can breathe and it doesn't feel like I'm suffocating. Even as we speak, and this is like just so real life. Which I get, it's so funny because I know it doesn't look like it, but like it feels like somebody's like, and that's crazy. Like having to learn to live like that. Like that's my baseline. I'm like, how unstoppable that's not my goal, but how much life could I live? Maybe a little bit more fuller, if when someone has weights on. And then like run and they work out with all the weighted vests and they're weighted and it's awesome. They build all this strength. It's like, that's so cool. It's really hard at first, but then eventually they just get used to having those. And so now it's like second nature to run with the weighted vests. It's really how I feel. And it would be awesome to take off the weighted vest and like see how fast I could actually run. Which again, my goal isn't like anything crazy. It's actually just to like go a day without pain,
I want you to imagine for a second that we were able to do all of those things that we talked about. And I know it's hard to dream, but like for a second, if you're willing, like dream about that.
Sure.
And imagine that it's not even like years down the road. Like it could be next month. Like, are you able to fathom that?
No, not at all. I mean, that seems like no. No, I mean, I feel like there's almost like guards up, and again, but in my mind of like, that'd be awesome, but also like, just the reality that I've been living in. But oh gosh, I think I couldn't even fathom that. I feel like I'm coming up for like a loss of words, but that's just because like what kind of sits before me is the idea of like, what if your life could really change? And I don't know if even like, I don't even know if I've ever been asked that. Like, I don't think doctors, I had this idea in my head when I was younger and I was first walking through this health journey that like the doctors were going to be the ones to save me, or like they were going to be the ones to help like fix and heal and change. And I like, because that's what you're told, and like that's what's presented before you, and I had no reason to believe otherwise. And so to actually like in a completely different context, but also I guess in the same, like to have kind of before me this idea of like, hey, really maybe there's hope. Whereas I've pulled on every thread of like hope you could imagine when it comes to health and what you can do. And so, yeah, that's a crazy thing to fathom. And I'm coming up at a loss for words because I'm like, what if my life could really change? I just don't know any different. And it feels almost like not dangerous, but maybe a little scary to dream because I've managed thus far-ish.
Yeah.
Heavy emphasis on the ish.
Well, to the best of my ability, I'm going to try to make that dream come true for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I say I know. I don't have the money we're about to ask for.
Right.
But when the stuff on social media blew up and I started looking at what sort of opportunities there was around me to help other people, you were the first person I thought of.
Yeah. Thank you.
Not just because of the scope of like hell you've had to go through, but also just because you are the type of person that like you light up a room when you walk into it, even though you're literally dying.
Right.
And like you've always been that person. And like if anyone deserved to win, it would be you.
Well, thank you.
So
yeah, no, you've got a really cool thing going on, and I think people are yeah.
It's the
really cool.
It's the bee's knees.
The bee's knees. It's the bee's knees. Gosh.
Do you remember we were talking about this beforehand. Maybe we'll close with this story because it's later.
Bring it up.
The money competition.
Let's talk about it for a second.
How did it start?
I think, don't quote me, I think you covered dinner for me because I left. I might have not had my wallet.
I think we went to dinner with Jen. Mm-hmm. Shout out Jen.
Shout out Jen.
And
hey, Jen.
I think it was the three of us, and you were like short something, but it wasn't much.
Oh, maybe something like that. But if I can dive into that, and I loved it. We have different perspectives, but what he's referring to is I think I was short. I then owed you money, and I said I am almost positive I Venmo'd you money.
And I told you not to.
You told me not to, and you sent it right back.
I did.
And that went on for a little bit, and it remained strictly digital for a second.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, it was like $2, I think, right?
I'm thinking of the number we ended with.
What did we end with?
It was like...
Because it started increasing, right?
It did. Okay, I'm thinking of... Okay, you're right. Backtrack.
Okay.
It was like a $2 difference. You tell me not to send it. I didn't listen.
Yep.
You send it back.
Yep.
At some point, and that was like...
I think I increased it.
You doubled it. So then naturally, like, I doubled it. And then I think you doubled it again.
Yeah.
And this is not like in the span of a day. This is like months.
Yeah.
Until somehow, some way, that money became like physical. Now it's in a Ziploc bag. And we're like attempting to get it to one another. And I think the number that it was like 37 something. It was like $37.
And it helped that I had your dad as an accomplice because he and I were hanging out more.
That's ridiculous.
And so I would just be like, hey, put this somewhere in Skylar's room at some point.
I just remember like trying to think of like, how can I get this to him so discreet? It did help that we at one point worked at the same place, frequented the same place.
Yep.
We're in the same area all the time. And then much to my dismay, I did just recently learn that you, I think, did win that.
I think I did.
Money exchange because I'm pretty sure you put it in my like center console in my car.
I think so.
I think I just left it there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I found, in my defense, I don't think I found it until like, who's opening up the center console of their car? Do you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I had no, I had no need.
Yeah.
But that was, shout out Jen call.
Shout out Jen. We love you, Jen.
Love you, Jen.
Oh, man. Thank you for your time.
Oh, yeah. No, thank you. Bee's knees.
Let's change your life.
Wow. Confetti cannon, if I had one. Could you imagine?
That'd be great.
That's one of my dreams.
Confetti cannon?
Yeah, for my birthday. I've always asked somebody to rip out a confetti cannon.
Good to
One
know.
day. It hasn't happened yet. Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting.
Anyways.
It's interesting that you'd specifically request it and that it wouldn't happen.
I think I've been requesting a confetti cannon and like I have the receipts probably for like 2 or 3 years now.
That's amazing. All right, cool. Well, Let's make it happen.
All right.